The sweeps have largely been put off for a year because of the pandemic and COVID-19 restrictions. But with things improving, the city says it will go back to its pre-pandemic push to clear out some of these campsites. Fox 12's Marilyn Deutsch reports from North Portland.
The city says it's prioritizing the cleanup in terms of the larger campsites first, and also campsites and tents that obstruct streets, sidewalks, pathways, and entrances. It is a gray and rainy day in the city. The rain may be needed, but for the homeless among us, it just makes life a little gloomier. The city says this week it's starting back up its program of clearing homeless camps. The camps seem to be everywhere. When shelters had to turn away clients because of COVID-19 restrictions, many of the city's houseless had no place else to go. In some cases, they've set up their own small communities. It's not pretty, and sometimes they're dangerous for health and safety reasons. Clearing the homeless camps may help some who live in houses, but will it help those who don't?
These kinds of actions, really do tend to trigger mental health crisis in the people that we're serving for obvious reasons. I mean, they're essentially being evicted from a place that they consider to be their home and their shelter.
Scott Kerman, executive director of Blanchet House, says there's not enough housing for those who want it and not enough services for the homeless who are mentally ill or drug addicted. These are people who are at rock bottom, and their needs are greater than many of us can imagine. And even homeless advocates say they haven't figured out the best ways to help these folks.
For many of those people, it's because of mental illness, it's because of addiction crisis. And so it's such a terribly nuanced problem. We're not very good necessarily at dealing with nuance.
Even if there was enough shelter space, Kerman says there are those who prefer to sleep on the streets rather than in shelters, and he says that could be because of mental illness. When the city decided to resume the sweeps, it said if it didn't do it now, it would take another year or two to get the city back to pre-pandemic levels in terms of the city's homeless problem. A homeless problem that wasn't new then and is now just more visible. The city's bureaus are now in the process of taking inventory of all their properties to see if any could be used for shelters or even campsites. In North Portland, Marilyn Deutsch, Fox 12 Oregon.